Grabando.
Okay, following the principle of intensive reading, we just have to summarizing. This is an important part of the intensive reading. Is organize the ideas and supporting points. It is important that you check for the main ideas, principal idea, and secondary ideas. Testing. The next step is testing yourself. You have to try to ask you some questions about what is the reading about, and so you can have the correct knowledge about this reading or what you're trying to know. Understanding. This is the end of the product of the intensive reading, of course. Is be sure that you understand every important question. It's important that you understand at the end, this is the last step of intensive reading. It's important that you understand what you're trying to, what is the reading about, the text, what you're trying to learn. Next one, we're going to talk about teacher's role in intensive reading. This is important because we're going to be a teacher, so it's important that you know what you should do when you're practicing intensive reading in class with your students. The first one is you have to be organizer. It says explain the purpose and clear instruction about the activity the student will practice in class. This is really important. So the students be sure what it's about. What is about the activity of intensive reading. Observer. During the exercise, be sure not to interrupt students and watch their progress. This is also important. You shouldn't disturb students. Just watch them and try to see the advance they are doing during the exercise. Feedback organizers. This is a very important step. Make the necessary feedback to check the exercise result. You should take some time to have the feedback from the student. You could do it first with your students by couples. I mean, they can do it each other, and then the whole group can give you the feedback so you can check that everybody understands. And the last one is to be a prompter. Advise a student to notice some other language structures in text. When you are studying, they can notice another structure that is not in the text at the moment, or you are not practicing at the moment. So you could give them some clues so they understand another important topic, so they can investigate it later. Okay. Now we're going to have a quiet exercise about what we're trying to do in intensive reading. It's important that you know or you be careful with the instruction. This exercise focuses on intensive reading. Read one sentence at a time and find the inappropriate vocabulary mistake or contradiction. All errors are in the choice of vocabulary, not in the grammar. So be careful. Vocabulary, not in the grammar. So I'm going to read it first, and then you're going to check it. Jack Forrest is a baker who always provides his customer with meat. Last Tuesday, Mrs. Brown came into the shop and asked for 3 fillets of brown bread. Unfortunately, Jack only had 2 fillets remaining. He excused Mrs. Brown and promised her that he would have too much bread the next time she came. Mrs. Brown, being a reliable customer, assured Jack that she would return. Later that day, Jack was sealing the shop when the phone rang. It was Mrs. Brown, requiring if Jack has baked another slice of brown bread. Jack said, "As a matter of truth, I burned some extra loaves a few hours ago. Would you like me to bring one by? Mrs. Brown said she would. And so Jack going to his bike and rode to Mrs. Brown to deliver the third pound of brown toast. Read it later, read it, read it by yourself, and then we're going to check it with the rest of the group.